How do you guys think Loyola and Michigan match up? How do you see this game sort of playing out?
I mean, I think you just mentioned it. Loyola they're legit. I mean, they're definitely on a Cinderella run. They're on one of those they got hot at the right time type of things. So they are riding that wave right now, but they're a legit team. You wouldn't be in the Final Four if you couldn't play. I do think Michigan might be the best defensive team that they've run up against. So I think that could be the biggest thing. And I mean, Michigan, they obviously got hot against A&M, and they were just shooting the lights out. They cooled off a little bit against Florida State, but if they can get that shot rolling and start making threes, but they need to ride their defense. If they can lock down on defense, create a bunch of turnovers, I think Michigan will be fine. But, hey, those Cinderella stories, those teams that are just riding that hot wave, that's nothing to mess with. So Michigan definitely shouldn't be taking them lightly.
Beeline a week to prepare too makes a big difference, I think, too. But again, Loyola, we talked about it. They have a very good team, and they don't have any one and dones, do they? They stick around and they play as a team.
One big thing, especially come tournament time, is experience. I mean, you can have all the diaper dandies and the blue chip freshmen that come in, but sometimes you would take a guy that's in his third or fourth year over that freshman that's really talented just because they have the experience.
What I see in this game, what really stuck out to me is Mo Wagner, he's going to have a big game. Yeah. He's got a mismatch. I mean, he's literally getting guarded by a guy who has a neck beard in Cameron Krowick. The guy has a neck beard. He should not be able to cover Mo Wagner. We're going to need him to have a really good game, 20-plus points.
Yeah, and that big guy has been playing pretty good, though.
He is. I mean, I respect it. Yeah. As a freshman, he doesn't look like he's good, but he's played really well all tournament.
Looks can be deceiving, for sure. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens, like Matt said, against Michigan's defense. That thing was something else in that Florida State game. I mean, really, that won the game for him. Don't you guys agree?
That was the biggest thing to me watching that Florida State game was the defense from both teams, because Florida State played just as good defensively as Michigan did. But Florida State, man, they had some dudes that were just insanely athletic, blocking. I don't know how many block shots they had, but it seemed like a bunch. But I think the most impressive thing to me, and I've talked about it a lot, is Xavier Simpson playing defensively at the point guard position. He's the type of dude that if I was playing him in pickup ball or something like that, he would just frustrate the hell out of me because he just seems to get up in you. He doesn't let you get by. I mean, he had a couple possessions at the end of the game that his defense was incredible. So Charles Matthews and Rockman, they're incredibly skilled defensively too. So I think Michigan's defense is going to be the biggest difference in this game. If you ask me, I think that's what it's going to be.
Yes,
so
please.
The big question of the day is, will Michigan defeat Sister Jean and Loyola? I'm going to begin with a quote from Hoosiers. And David put his hand in the bag and took out a stone and slung it. And it struck the Philistine on the head, and he fell to the ground. And then the Philistine got up and pushed David so hard that he bumped into Sister Jean's wheelchair, and she rolled down the ramp out of the San Antonio Arena, and she missed the second half and was not available for an interview with Dickie V. Oh, baby, it's a miracle. She's not on the camera. Michigan's defense will wear down Loyola, and the offense will move into high gear in the fourth quarter, winning the game 70-59, fellas, giving Coach John Boeheim another trip to the championship against Villanova, where they'll win another one. Michigan will do it with defense. I wish the football team would follow suit. There's nothing better than seeing Michigan crank down on defense and win it the hard way.
Did you guys see the one advantage that Michigan might have? The assistant coach, that he's a first-year assistant with Michigan this year. Did you read anything about that?
No, lay it on.
Luke Yaklich. So he came on. He's an assistant coach with Michigan this year, but he, for the last 4 or 5 years, was an assistant coach at Illinois State, and they played Loyola a lot in, I think, in the regular season, but in tournament play also. And they actually have beat them a few times. So he has a lot of experience recruiting and coaching and game planning against Loyola. So it's just one of those random things. Like the year that Michigan meets Loyola in the Final Four, they have a first-year assistant on the staff that has a ton of experience game planning against Loyola. So it's something that, is it going to actually help Michigan? Maybe, maybe not, but it doesn't hurt.
You didn't know that John Beilein could see in the future, Matt?
And I definitely knew that he could, so I should give him credit for that, actually. You're right.
It's one of the reasons why you picked Michigan to go all the way in your bracket, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So if Michigan does get by Loyola, I think they will. I don't want to, count my chickens before they hatch or whatever. But who do you think like comes out on the other side, Villanova and Kansas, or who do you not want to see? I know me personally, Villanova scares me. They have white guys that can dunk. I mean, wow. DiVincenzo, that guy can fly. He's had like 3 putback dunks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like our pod that we had a few weeks ago with the couple guests that we had, they both picked Villanova, and they both kind of said the same thing, and similar to what I was saying earlier. Villanova has the guys that you're talking about, Jared, and the experience. Like if you look from like top to bottom, and Jay Wright is one of the best coaches in college basketball right now too. So like the whole formula, I guess, Villanova really has it all. But I mean, Kansas is no joke either. But Kansas usually it just seems like they come up short. I don't know. Like Bill Self seems to come up short more often than not. But no, as far as your question, like who would you rather see? I think I would rather see Kansas just because of that. Villanova is just such a complete basketball team. But either one, it would be a best or a huge test for Michigan. But they got to get by Loyola first.
It's a weird thing, but I just have a feeling it's going to be Kansas beating Villanova for some reason. I think it's going to be Michigan and Kansas in the championship game.
I like our chances, honestly. I think that we're probably the underdog there, but I like our chances.